where do you think it all leads? And by that I mean, are you a believer that we're looking at future civil unrest, war, a totally irrational electorate? How do you see it playing out amongst the public?
Well, so we're already seeing it play out. People are really mad and angry, and it's part of the reason that I do the work I do, because I think we need the appropriate education. We need to understand the actual context. So if I can go, it's kind of off the reservation a second, but I'll come back, I promise. There's a very famous psychological study that shows if you take a male rat and you put it in a cage, right, and you electrify the floor of the cage and you shock him really unpleasantly over time, he'll just, and he can't escape it. If he can't escape it, he'll get really withdrawn, and eventually he'll learn to tolerate it. But he'll basically be okay. He'll figure out how to live with it. If you put two rats in the cage and start doing that, they live through those shocks for just until they can't stand it, and then they look at the other rat and say, "It must be you bastard," and they fight to the death, right? So because they don't have the ability to understand or control where the shocks are coming from. And I think this explains, for people who haven't taken the time to educate themselves, they don't know what's happening. And they're being told it's their fault. So there's these shocks that come like,
the rat analogy is great. It makes me realize that apparently tribalism trumps Pavlovian conditioning. It's brilliant.
Well, that's what I see. I see a lot of people turning on each other. Oh, it's these brown-skinned people. It's the Mexicans. It's the Muslims. It's this, it's that. It's none of them, people. It's none of them. You are systematically being abused by people who have rigged the system in their favor and are lying to you about the true state of affairs. And this goes on under every administration. It's not a political statement. I'm not saying Obama this, Hillary that, Trump this, any of that, Bush that. This has gone on since the Kennedy administration. And it's just how it works. It's just how the system works. So understanding that, I think, provides, I don't have to be happy about it, but it provides some relief, because I go, oh, I understand what's happening. And then that gives me more options to decide how I want to respond, rather than allowing myself to be manipulated to putting my energy into attacking or blaming things that have nothing to do with my circumstances.